another decent round of tipping in the books. I ended up on a 6 out of 8, and if it only was for the actual Footy Tips app on ESPN to be working, we'd be able to tell you how I did in comparison to everyone else. But I felt like 6 out of 8 was a pretty good round of tipping in comparison to everyone else. So let's jump into it and review the tips, as well as go through my tips for this round 14. So as you can see, 6 out of 8. We start off with the Bulldogs against the Hawks that we would have gone through in the video last week that we always do on a Friday now. And you will see that I tipped the Bulldogs by 39, and they ended up losing by 22. So I was 61 points off. Started my round on a bad note, but it does only basically get better from there. The next game, I had Adelaide by 12, and they won by 5. So being 7 points off there definitely does help out the sort of projection, I would say, in a way, or just in general, this the scoring there on that front. And then Sydney against Richmond, I had Sydney by, I think it was 11 points. Yeah, 11 points. So they ended up winning by 44, which puts me... Well, I was off by 33 points. I'm just happy that Sydney won a game, and they looked a lot more convincing in the second half in that game. But it was that first quarter that was very dangerous. But after quarter time, I'm pretty sure it was 14 to 64, which is a big differential. And then you have Geelong against Gold Coast. I had Geelong by 22, and they ended up winning by 24. So being 2 points off there, I've been really good with my Geelong picks in recent time. I'm pretty sure I've gotten their combined margin in the last 3 weeks off by only about 10 points. I'm pretty sure I was spot on last week, and I don't know about the week before that. Let me just double check. Oh, I had Geelong, by 43 last week, and then the week before that, I had the Cats by 10, and they were 4 points off there. So I'm 6 points off in the last 3 weeks with Geelong. That's a pretty good record with them. GWS against Port Adelaide. I got this tip wrong. I thought GWS would win. I thought that they were better. Maybe I put too high a standard on them, correcting to what I thought the media were saying. As remember, the media has them as sort of the premiership favourites, or at least the premiership favourites in preseason. And it seems like they're just teetering in and around the 8. And if it wasn't for Sydney being a better side, I feel like they wouldn't be in the 8, but it is what it is there. With all the injuries there for them and Carlton and other sides there. But yeah, they feel like they're still that 9 to 11, 9 to 12 type of region. It doesn't feel like they're going to really challenge if they do make the 8. So it will be interesting to see how they go in the actual, I guess, long run of the year. But I had them by 24. They lost by 16. I was off by 40 points. Then we get to what was one of the most dour games that I've ever seen. I'm glad that I left at halftime. I had North by 19. They won by 10. They were lucky to win in the end because that was shocking. And I was 9 points off there, which, is all right. And so the margin currently for the round, the cumulative margin is 152 points, which isn't the worst over 6 games, but not the best, I believe. And then Carlton against Essendon. I had Carlton by 10. I thought that this would go eerily similar to what it actually did go out. And so it just wasn't Essendon's ability, I don't think, to run them down for some reason. Carlton actually held on in the last quarter, so that was a really good sign for them, but I just don't know about them long run. But in the end, I was 2 points off there. And then you've got Melbourne against Collingwood. I had Collingwood by 35. I thought they would dominate this game, but Melbourne just hung around, etc. And they made it close, and there was a couple of iffy decisions, but I think Collingwood probably should have won. Either way you look at it, but it is also bad kicking, is bad footy. But they had a lot more chances probably to steal the game, or seal the game, I should say. Then we get to this week. And the funny thing is, I actually posted this on Twitter. I forgot to do the tip before the actual bounce of the ball. And then you'll see it here. Like I did post in the end. Oh, whoopsie, I would have said Dogs by 30. So yeah, I did end up saying the Dogs by 30. So I guess if we run off that, then I am only 42 points off because the Dogs did win. I thought I would have definitely tipped the Dogs. As I said, that was posted at 7:44, so that was 15 minutes into the game when I actually realized. I'm pretty sure the margin was relatively close at that point. I think it might have been 14-6 or something like that. It was pretty close when that, I can even try and, it would have been 10 minutes into the game. So let's look at the timeline I'm just looking on my phone here, the timeline of the likes of that game 10 minutes in, because yeah, I don't think it was too far-fetched to say that it was still relatively close at that point. 10 minutes into the game, you've got it at 2-0 to St Kilda, 2-1, 2-2. It would have been 2-2, maybe even 8-2 at the time that this was posted. I think maybe even 8-3. It was very, very close and very, very early into the game. So I don't think it's too bad to say that I would have got that tip right. Then we get to these games. This one is a dead heat. Wow. Let's go to lineups here to actually be able to sort of, let's actually go here. I'll use this and just go to team lineups here. You will see, here's the lineup for the Hawks. I do think that Worpel being out injured is a massive loss just in terms of their midfield. And I actually think Adelaide probably gets the job done here against the Hawks. I know most people are tipping the Hawks here, but I'm going to go Adelaide. I don't want the sports bet. Thank you. I'm going to go Adelaide in this game. I'm going to go Adelaide by 12 points. I just think that they're going to be able to not smash the Hawks in the midfield, but I think that they'll have more effective clearances from the midfield that will lead to more scores. Brisbane will beat up on the GWS Giants. I just don't rate GWS, to be honest with you. And I think Brisbane are a team that's going to just sort of waltz into second place and then figure out that they're playing finals footy in about second or third week of finals. Then you've got Essendon against Collingwood, against Geelong. I think Geelong win this one. I think the Essendon are sort of just floundering, and I know that they're debuting a lot of players, which is what they should be doing. They should be tanking and developing players. You shouldn't be seeing Shield. You shouldn't really be seeing Setterfield either. Setterfield isn't going to be there for your next premiership push. You shouldn't be seeing... let's actually just look at their lineup here, and I'll show you what I mean by it to a certain extent. Let's look at Essendon. McGrath, I don't think is going to be there, but I think the next time that they push, but it is what it is. Goldstein, I think, is getting chopped out with Blackiston, so that'll be interesting to watch that. But I think that's a smart move, just given the scenario there. Goldstein is probably going to, well, he might play on next year, but Blackiston's a guy that you might need just because of all the ACLs. Laverde, yeah, you're kind of stuffed over. Archie Roberts is getting good games. Angus Clark at halfback, look, that's going to be probably better for a long run. Zach Johnson as well, getting games is huge. Jackson Pryor, just sometimes you just need to meet the ends meet with all the tools that they've lost. Dersma, yeah, Merritt in the midfield should be a lot better now that they've got Johnson, Clark, etc. off halfback. Even though not much has changed, it looks like. And then the wingers there. So it looks a lot more lot younger of a side, which is a good thing for them as well. And I just think they're a lot more better suited for what they need. They also do have Archer May, Peter Wright, and Nate Caddy. They've got an actual tall lineup, which is really good. 2 talls and a third tall in Caddy that's sort of a lot more athletic than most. And then they've got the dual rucks, which they usually go with. I just don't like probably the Setterfield Guelphy picks. I think you can probably go with Hobbs even probably potentially over Guelphy at that point, or someone else there. Maybe even get a Sardis on the field just to continue his development, because I don't think Will Setterfield is going to mean much in the next 8 to 10 games. And how old is he? I swear he's like 28, 29. So he's 27. He's turning... He's already turned 27, so he's sort of in his prime. You sort of know what he's going to be, and he's not really in that top 50 or 60 in the competition for midfielders, so, or at least it doesn't feel like it. So I just wouldn't, I just don't rate Will Setterfield, to be honest with you, especially with the way modern midfielders are going. Then you've got North Melbourne. So what did I don't even know if I tipped, so I tipped Adelaide by 12 in this game. Then Brisbane, I would say probably Brisbane by 25 or 30. We'll go 30 for Brisbane. So Adelaide by 12, Brisbane by 30, and then you've got Geelong, I would say by I think so 12, 25 for the Brisbane game, and I'm gonna go Geelong by I think 30. I think they pretty much decimate this Essendon side and get it done by half time, even with the potential for Bailey Smith not to play. Then you've got Freo against the likes of North Melbourne. I think they win as well pretty convincingly. I'm going to go them by 35 points, I want to say, as I just don't know if North Melbourne are really up to the challenge. Then you've got Port Adelaide against Melbourne. I'm actually going to go against the grain a little bit and say Melbourne in this game. I think that they're... I know Port Adelaide's at home, but I think that Port Adelaide... Melbourne showed fight against Collingwood, whereas Port Adelaide, let's see their last result. They beat GWS. GWS aren't much of a challenge. They lost to Fremantle. They lost to Geelong. They lost to Adelaide. And they've lost to the Western Bulldogs pretty convincingly in their last 5 games. So I'm going to go I'm going to not go GWS. I'm going to go Melbourne in this game. And I'm going to go Melbourne by 21 points. And then you got West Coast against Carlton. I'm going to go Carlton. I think Charlie Curnow kicks a bag. So I'm going to go Carlton by 36 points. Which, yeah, I just think that they are able to win it so convincingly. So you got Adelaide by 12. You got Brisbane by 25. You've got Geelong by 30. You've also got Fremantle by 35. Melbourne by 21. And also Carlton by 36. And those are the tips. So if you guys did enjoy that video, remember to like and subscribe. Turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload. And I will see you guys back here tomorrow for the update, well, I guess for the game review, I should say, on the Friday night game. I'll see you guys then. Bye, guys.